weight, bud?
Okay, my name is Jason Traub. I am 6 foot, and I weigh around 205 pounds right now.
Okay, and you're doing what classes, bud, in 2 years?
I am competing in bodybuilding and classic physique.
Okay, what show are you doing?
I am doing the Amateur Olympia.
Okay, good deal. Now this is, go ahead and tell me, this is your first show you've ever done, right?
Yeah, so this is, I was originally planning on doing the Powerhouse Classic in Michigan. That show was canceled due to COVID complications at 3 weeks out. And instead of just ending the season there, me and my coach discussed it, and we found the Amateur Olympia was 2 days after when Powerhouse was supposed to be, so we just decided to go for that. So my first show is on the Olympia stage, the Amateur Olympia stage.
Very cool. Now who are you, just because we brought up your coach, so who are you working with?
Yeah, so my coach is Jeremy DeSantis out of Powerhouse East Lansing. He just went pro in men's physique at Universe, I want to say, down in Florida a few weeks ago. Right, that's true. Except for Charleston right before that, but close enough.
And how long have you guys been working together?
Jeremy, I would say officially, Jeremy has prepped me just through this prep, so about 12, 14 weeks. Although he's given me, I would say he's been kind of working on me a little bit before that, you know, thinking about, or getting me to think about doing a show, and I would get advice from him, you know, over the past year and a half. But we haven't been working together officially for that long, just over this prep, and he's done a great job. I have no complaints.
So go ahead and tell people about your workout and what it was originally for and how it went.
Yeah, so I did mostly pump movements today. I did mostly push movements today, but it was all for the purpose of just to burn calories and just deload and get a nice pump. We're 7 days out, so the food is really low, the energy is really low, and so we're really just trying to burn as many calories as we can and then just drive blood into the muscle and get as much contraction as we can for a little last-minute definition.
What's your cardio like right now?
So cardio right now is it's an hour 20 to 2 hours, depending on how hard I can push it on any given day. Jeremy kind of gives me a little wiggle room to assess my own body, but I'm pushing it. I would say it's like an hour and 30 a day right now.
And what do you do now? But is it HIIT cardio? Is it?
So I do 2 sessions of I would say moderate to higher intensity. It looks more like an interval training where I'll go from a moderate intensity speed to a fast for a little bit, and then I'll drive back down to the moderate. And then I'll do one long session at the end that's just light intensity, just target heart rate cardio.
What's diet like? What's your off-season diet normally like, as opposed to like your prepping diet? What's it been like?
So before going into this prep, my off-season, I was eating 4,500 to 5,000 calories, 4,500 to 5,000 calories. I would say 85% clean, 15% garbage. Really putting an emphasis on pushing clean carbs, white rice, cream of rice, things like that, and pulling my protein down a little more than is conventional. It's still a lot, but a little less, just so I could drive my carbs up even more. And then the idea behind that was to kind of force my metabolism up, so then when we start this prep, drop the calories just a little bit, you see huge changes. And that seemed to have worked really well. And I think that my successful off-season is a part of the reason why this prep has been so smooth for me.
Now, what did you weigh in your off-season? Right?
At my heaviest, I was 235.
Okay, so you still
It wasn't too crazy. No, I mean, the heaviest I've ever been is 255. That wasn't this past off season. That was like a year ago, and that one was not pretty. But this last one was a lot more diligent. I was still tracking food, but it was it was a cleaner 230, 235.
We talked off camera, but go ahead and tell us a little about your background, lacrosse and stuff.
Yeah, so
when you started lifting and how then you got into bodybuilding.
Yeah, so I've been lifting for 12, 13 years. It was always for sports growing up, sports performance and things like that. I always wanted big arms, that's a part of it, but I didn't really start trying to bodybuild until after college lacrosse got done. So I played lacrosse at the Division III level. Yeah, so I played lacrosse in college at the Division III level, and so obviously my training back then was all for performance, getting faster. You know, it was all targeted around how to improve my play, and so when lacrosse, when my eligibility ran out and there was no more lacrosse, I kind of had this void in my life, competitively and athletically, I would say, and so I decided to look for another outlet, which ended up being bodybuilding. Once I graduated, well, so it was actually friends around me that had competed in the past. My buddy Jake Chandler, I have a friend named Zach Penrod who's competed just locally. These are the guys who kind of like, I wouldn't say got me into it, but kind of put bodybuilding on my radar. And so when lacrosse ended and this void was open in my life, they kind of were like, hey, why don't you try this? And I was like, oh, well, maybe I will try that. And then things started moving fast, changing fast in my body. I was like, oh, wow, this is a lot of fun. And so I started trying to learn more about it. I found, different YouTube channels like Fouad Abiad, Dave Palumbo. I used him as a great resource. James Hollingshead, all these guys, and I just tried to learn as much as I could from what all these top guys were doing, and then.
Did your body respond really well to the training, like once you started to?
I would say it did, yeah. I would say especially in the last year, things have changed so fast. It's just very strange to me, and it wasn't until I really decided, okay, let me sit down and do everything that I can possibly do to improve at this. That's when I started changing, which sounds obvious, but like some people can progress. Yeah, I think that's a genetic thing, but I think for my particular genetics, it took me like hammering on every nail 100% to see the changes that I wanted. And so I'm just going to push it as hard as I can and see where I can go.
Were you naturally always like, even in like high school stuff, always a bigger guy, brother? No.
I would say I always had bigger arms and chest than most people, but yeah, I would say yes and no. I would say no, not now, no. But yeah, I've always been a bigger guy. I would say like broader shoulders. The base was sort of there, I would say. But
so what do you feel like was the main, not getting too deep with you, but just like discipline, or what was the main attraction about it in general that drove you to wanting to do this?
Yeah. Oh, dude, go ahead and get deep on me. I love it. So the discipline is definitely a huge thing. Is a huge draw as to why I love it. I've always been obsessed with really complex games and systems, and I kind of look at bodybuilding as like one of the most complex games someone can play. It's this weird game where like the boundaries of the game are not just like closed in a box, right? It's all the time. It's throughout all day, every day. Even when you're sleeping, you're playing this game where where you can change things in your daily habits in your life to become a better bodybuilder and improve. I just really like that. It's like, it seems to have infinite depth. It seems like you can go into this as deep as you want and min-max it all the way through, right? Does that make sense? Like there's always something to improve on, and I really, really like that.
Like for lacrosse, you're training something. Bodybuilding, you're living it every day.
All the time, right? Like lacrosse it's bound within like a 60-minute timer. It's bound within 4 quarters. Lacrosse or bodybuilding it's not. I mean, you could say it's bound within like this moment on stage, but it's so much more than that. Like it takes so much more. Like every moment in your off season matters, and it all culminates into that one moment on stage. It's just a really cool thing. I don't know if that falls under the umbrella of discipline or what. I don't know how I would quantify that, but I just think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
obviously enjoyed. You're obviously doing well. This is your first show. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I love the training. The training is
And for being 7 days out, like I was
it's the most fun.
Camera, you looking sick. Still,
Thank you, man.
most
I appreciate it.
flat and I don't know what's going on with you.
I don't either. I don't know what witchcraft Jeremy's got going on, but.
So what do you do? Well, this will be your first time competing, but you see yourself definitely competing in the future. You really
Yeah. So I've decided. I just turned 27 about a month and a half ago, and on my 27th birthday, I told myself I'm going to give myself 3 years to push this as hard as I can, put everything I have into this, and try and find a way to do this for the rest of my life. If it turns out that I hit my genetic ceiling, or it's just not meant to be, then I'm going to pivot and find something else. But for these 3 years, I'm gonna try and do it, because I think that if I don't try this, I would rather try this and fail than not try it and regret it for the rest of my life. Something like that. Not to get too deep on you, but not to flip it.
I gave myself 3 years, actually exactly 3 years when I started photography. I said I wanted to be one of the top,
shit, man. Yeah,
one of the top 5 in the nation. If I did, then I would sell my camera and say it was useless. So I totally know what you feel like.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that's.
And if you don't want to spend, if it's something you just know it's going to work for, you don't want to spend your whole life chasing something.
No, exactly. But like you gotta. It's
Give it
like
a fair chance.
if you love it, you gotta try. Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta just try it.
So you are a personal trainer.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
anyone wanted to contact you about training stuff, like I'll provide your Instagram link and stuff.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Instagram is a great way to reach me, or email is a great way as well. Oh yeah. I'd love to thank my family, my parents, my brother, my coach Jeremy. I'd like to thank him a million times. This would not be possible without him. Everybody on Team DeSantis has been great, just keeping my spirits high throughout all this, and it's my first prep. Mentally, I didn't know what to expect, and everybody around me has just been great. I want to thank my friends who have been super supportive and stuck around and dealt with me through this. So, yeah. Well, I want to thank you too, man, for letting me do this. This is awesome. This is really cool. This is like a small dream come true for me, man. This is, Well, I super appreciate it. This is like.
You never know who's going to be what. So,
I mean, it's my first shoot.
Very good. Well, good luck in the show. We'll follow along, and I hope everything goes well. And it's nice that Jeremy's going out with you. That'll be good.
Yeah,
Good luck in the show, man.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.